when minstrel prays. First of all, can we talk briefly about minstrel? A minstrel is not just a singer. Originally, according to the Bible, a minstrel, when they say minstrel, is the one that play an harp. Not necessarily a singer. It's one that have a flute, a harp in his hand and play, not a singer. But then in the contemporary definition, it has advanced to the point that a minstrel now is one that sings. But you see, in the contemporary definition, a minstrel does not necessarily have to be a minister in the church. So anyone that sings, anyone that do music is called a minstrel. But according to our context, we are looking at a mistress in the kingdom. It then means that the definition must be further expanded. But the first question I'd like to ask tonight is that what is the difference between you and Davido? Because he plays, most times he even plays instrument more than you. How many of you have listened to fathers like Sani Ade, Obesere, and many of these people? Have you heard their guitarist? Have you heard their guitarist? If you are indeed instrumentalist, you know that you must learn from those guys. They are good at instruments. Then what is the difference between they and you? Because they have the technicality. The technicality we don't have. Let's be sincere with ourselves. We don't. We are still learning. Musical technicality, we are still learning. They have mastered the technicality. So the only advantage we have, because they have the technicality we don't have. Let's be sincere with ourselves. We don't. We are still learning. Musical technicality, we are still learning. They have mastered the technicality. So the only advantage we have now is the advantage of the spirit. So the difference between a minstrel in the kingdom and a minstrel in outside the kingdom is your spirituality. Meanwhile, the Lord said to me here, he said, tell them, if they don't have an altar, there is no future for them. Any minister of God who don't have an altar, there is no future for you. Because if you pray, if you talk about prayer without praying, you are scam. If you come here and handle microphone without praying, you are scam. When should you pray? You must pray before the ministration. You must pray during the ministration. After ministration, you must still pray. Ministry is an hard work. It's not a lazy work. If you are not ready to be hard working, go out of ministry. You are not needed there. We are sick and tired of lazy ministers. Microwave ministration, overnight ministration. And we see all that happen is that people bring camera and they are recording you. But our fathers and mothers of old, they like technicality. But the likes of Bola Are, when they are singing, Enyolua, Arugo, and heaven coupon. It then means that they have mastered how to bring the hand of God into situation. I hope you know that a time will come, not that it will come, it has come, that we men of God are stranded. And like Elisha, we require a minstrel. Bring for me that scripture. You don't know what happened there. It then, because there are three kings that came to him. One of them is a king that does not belong to the God of Zion. And it belongs, in fact, it's like a seed of King Ahab. And he doesn't have a right to come and seek the counsel of God because of what his father has done. Now he's part of them. And Elisha said, he said, normally I should not answer, but because I have regard for Jehoshaphat. So it then I'm showing you the context of bringing me a minstrel. Elisha his soul is troubled. Anger is in place. Bitterness is in place. Jealousy is in place. He knows in such an environment he can't travel and navigate to heaven. His soul has been overwhelmed, and there is no way he can receive the word of God at that time. He's offended. And Elisha said, because I can't give you a word, I'm stranded. Though a prophet, but I'm stranded. It then means that our man of God, they may not tell you, but we are stranded. There are times we need to have in our churches minstrel. Choristers and minstrels are different. That is why the sons of Levi, of the clan that sings, are not much regarded as time goes on in the scripture. because they are still singers. A time moved that the emphasis moved from the singers to minstrels. What we need are people by the reason of their sound and melody and chanting. It's not just about chanting. It's not about chanting. The power of God is not in the chants. The power of God is in the life that is chanting. You are doing what you don't know. It was the life of Reverend Christelvan, that introduced chant in Nigeria. In the revival that broke out in the day of Zaria, they were the one that was introducing the dimension of chant into the campus. People began to gather for concerts, and they were teaching and doing concert and chanting. It was his chant that opened door for him in the nations of London and many nations like that. Before the lives of Theophilus and what's he called now? This handsome man, Lawrence Sawyer, are now chanting. What am I saying? I'm saying that God can bet a new dimension from within you with a different name. With a different name. With a different name. Your name is not just a mystery, a potter. Your name is a potter. You are a channel, a gate between the realm of the spirit and the realm of men. So it doesn't mean that your work is a spiritual work, never a carnal one. The difference between a minister indeed and a singer is the spirituality. So prayer then is a necessity. Are we not tired already? If you don't pray, can I talk to you? It will look like men of God use you and dumbbell. And we never do. We never do. Because after singing for 5 years and 10 years, you will still be nowhere in destiny and in history. And your man of God must arise. And you are seeing us in big cars and say, we are the stepping stone. How is it that they are the only one that have a name? So if you carry spirituality and take your spiritual life serious, it then means that as God is helping your man of God is helping you as well. The likes of David Dan rose together with Selman. If the man did not have content, he will not rise. You may not hear about David Dan, but then the likes of Selman gave amplify their voice. So every time they give you a privilege to lead praise and worship, it's a privilege for you to convince and prove to your world that you are not just a person but an altar, not just a singer but a potter. The 30 minutes is not just for a waste of time, not just to ensure that we meet up with activity on Sunday. What we are saying to you, the man of God is telling you, he said there are sick I cannot heal. When they say praise and worship, in other words, the man of God is telling you there are people confused that they need to receive clarification while you are singing. How then do you plan to do that? By just coming. We have gotten to a point that ministers have master songs on their tablets that they will sing one after the other. Organization is good, but it's useless without prayer. So in Acts chapter 6 and verse 4, they said we will give ourselves continually. Go and check very well. There was a controversy that began from verse 1. They began to neglect the widows of the certain tribe, and then they were taking care of the widows, and they were brought to the apostles, and they were hot. They felt pointed. We felt we could have handled this, but it is not reasonable for us to leave the word of God and be serving tables. The question God is asking you tonight, you might think what you are doing is ministry, but it might still be that you are serving tables. It doesn't matter how much you do, what you call it. Can I talk to you? The ministry, what they call ministry is prayer. I don't care the kind of nature you have. Either a preacher, revivalist, a singer, instrumentalist. If you don't pray, you are a businessman. You are a businessman. Real ministry is prayer. It's prayer. Prayer is the real ministry. If we don't pray, then we are not in ministry. So when you say you are a minister of God, then it means you are a man of prayer, a woman of prayer. When we see an evil church that microphone on Sunday, They have been defied on Saturday. Yeah. And an instrumentalist that are playing drum set, their hand have taught on things. So the guy was still on the keyboard, but there was no connection again between him and on. Because on Friday is hard and unclean thing, but the spirit can see. Your pastor cannot see, but he can see. I assure you, you don't know what we are talking about. Even when you are married, there is a level of consecration. Your wife is a legal wife. Legal. But I'm telling you, if you read